Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing absolutely well. Guys, in this video we are going to see GenC technical assessment, actual questions that were asked in the actual technical assessment. Okay, I will be showing you the questions also, and I will be trying to explain you the answers also related to those questions. Make sure to watch the video till complete end, because you will get a lot of benefit by practicing these questions, because sometimes the technical assessment questions get actually repeated, or if not, then the exact similar pattern questions will come with just some data will be changed. Okay, so make sure to watch it very carefully, and if required you can also watch it twice if you have not understood it in one go. Also, I just want two things from you guys. If you are finding this content helpful, please write the word helpful so that I get to know how many of you are preparing for your examinations, and I can post more such videos related to that. So before we start the video, if you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel, as I regularly upload these kinds of helpful videos for all of you. Okay, so now let's get started with today's topic. Let's look at this question. The question is basically based on SQL query that we need to display. What we need to write the SQL query for is the flight ID, departure date, departure time, departure location, and destination of flights departing after, and this date is mentioned. Okay, you have to sort the results by departure time in ascending order. Your output should have 5 columns as given below: flight ID, departure date, departure time, flight from, and flight to. So guys, we have the answer in front of us. Okay, so the answer query is, we have to select flight ID, departure date, departure time, flight from, flight to, from flights, okay, where departure date is greater than this date, and order by departure time ascending. Now let me tell you what these all things means one by one. Okay, first of all, flight ID basically is displaying the unique flight identifier which is there in the table. Next is, we have departure date. It is basically for showcasing the date of departure. Departure time is for displaying the flight's departure time. Next is, we have flight from, which means indicates the departure location. Flight to simply means indicates the flight's destination. And now this condition that we are writing here, that is departure date is greater than whatever the date mentioned. Okay, this is flight this is basically for filtering the flights departing after 6th of Feb 2024. Okay, and order by departure time ascending means it sorts the results by departure time in the ascending order. So basically this is your correct answer query of this question. Okay, make sure that you practice well about this question. If you have any doubt, you can watch it again and you can try to create the query by your own. That way you will get a better understanding. And if you have any doubt, you can let me know in the comment section. Let's move on to the next question now. Okay, so we have this question as, write an SQL query to display the patient ID, payment status, and outstanding amount. Use alias outstanding amount for patients whose bill has not been fully paid. That is, the paid amount is less than the total amount. Okay, so this is basically the question that is given to us. One note is also given to us, that is outstanding amount is equals to what? Total amount minus the paid amount. So your output should have 3 columns as given below. Basically these were the 3 columns. Okay, now see, the question is totally given to us. I'm directly showcasing you the answer query. Okay, but I would highly recommend you that before watching the direct answer query, you try to formulate the answer query by your own, so that way you will get the understanding how you can formulate it exactly in your examination. Let's see the answer for this one. So the answer query is, select patient ID, payment status, okay, and then total amount minus paid amount. Okay, because we want outstanding amount right here. Now you have seen that outstanding amount, how can we calculate it? Total amount minus paid amount as outstanding amount from patients, and we have to use the alias as outstanding amount. So that is why I have written here as outstanding amount from patients. Basically patient is the name of the table, where paid amount is less than total amount. This is the condition that was told to us, so we have used this condition, and this is basically our final answer query. I hope you have understood it. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section. Moving on to the next question now. Let's look at this question. This is a coding question. Okay, let's see what is the question saying. You are given an integer array A of length n. In array A, 2 integers are repeated, meaning 2 integers appear twice in the array. You need to transform the array into a valid permutation of integers from 1 to n using the following operation. In each operation, you can choose only any element of the array and increase its value by 1. Find and return an integer representing the number of operations required to convert the array into a valid permutation of size n. Now guys, just by repeating, just in case if you have not understood, don't worry, I will explain you in just simple steps so that you will clearly understand what the question is asking and what you need to perform. Okay, so let's understand the input that is given to us first of all. So there are two inputs. Okay, first input is what? First input is the number of elements that we are going to have in our array, and second input is our actual input array itself. Okay, so our input array is what? 1, 1, 3, 3 and 4. Okay, and the output array is what? Output is not an array but an element, sorry, a digit. Okay, let's see what is this. Okay, first of all, I'll just take with the example input and I'll explain you. Okay, see, our example input is what? First is, you can say, n value, which is the length of the array, and then this is array value. Okay, input 2 is array value, which is our array. So let's take at 1, 1, 3, 3 and 4. Okay, so first thing is the correct sequence should be what? Okay, let me write the correct sequence should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Because see, what is told to us is you need to transform the array into a valid permutation of integers from 1 to n. Okay, so this is how our array should actually be looked like. Okay, so we have to convert this array to this array, but we have to perform some operations on the input array that is given to us. And now operations on the array can also be performed in a specific manner only. What is that manner? That in each operation you need to choose any element of the array and increase its value by 1. Okay, so I'll show you how we will do that. See, in our given input array, what is happening? Okay, now in our given input array means this array I'm talking about, 1, 1, 3, 3 and 4. 1 appears twice. I'm writing it here for you. 1 appears twice. Okay, we have seen 1 and 1 is appearing twice. In the similar way, 3 also appears twice, right? Whereas there is one more digit which is 4, okay, which is not appearing twice, okay, which is appearing once. This is our input condition, like, which is current condition. What is the expected condition? Expected condition, first and second is like 2 and 5 are basically missing. Okay, in expected condition 2 and 5 should be there, but it is not there. Okay, so actually 1 is appearing twice and 3 is appearing twice, which means instead of 1, 1 and 1, 3, we have to replace it with what? 2 and 5, right? The missing digits, you can say, right? At least I hope you are getting what we are trying to perform here. We have an input array where some digits are repeated. We have to eliminate some of the repeated digits with the digits which are not there in the array. Basically, we have to create a new array with the integers 1 to n. So first, now I'm telling you what are the steps that we have to take in order to solve it. See, the first step is going to be that you have to identify the repeated numbers. Okay, see, we have already identified the repeated numbers in our case. Identify the repeated numbers. Okay, in our case, the repeated numbers are 1 and 3, right? Second step is what? You have to identify the missing number also, right? So how you will identify the missing number? As I already told you, you have to understand which number is not there in your array. Okay, so in our case, the number is 2 and 5. So we have identified the repeated numbers, we have identified the missing numbers. Now third step is going to be what? You have to fix the array. Fix array using minimum number of operation. Okay, minimum number of operation. We have to fix the array with using minimum number of operation. So what are the steps that we are going to, or the operations that we are going to perform is, first of all, we will change 1 to 2 and then we will change 3 to 5. Okay, this will be one operation and this one also will be one operation. Okay, so total operations will be 2. That is why the output that we are getting in our case will be 2. So guys, we have the solution code here, that is convert to permutation, public static int min operations to permutations, and here we are taking the inputs, which is our size of the array and array itself. What we are doing is, first of all, we are sorting the array, sort the array to handle the duplicates properly. Then we are setting the operations value to 0 initially, and whenever we perform an operation, we will increment its value by 1. Okay, simple as that. Now what we are doing here is we are just iterating over our array, and then the expected value at index I should be I plus 1. Okay, so for example, if your index is 0, then the expected value should be 1 here. If your index is 1, the expected value should be 2. In this way, you have to check it, you do your operation. So that is only what we have done here. So a of I should be less than I plus 1, and operations plus is equals to, this is the condition, that is we have to adjust it to the expected value. Okay, I'm not digging very deep into the code because it is very easy You just have to pause the video and try to understand it. You will get it. Okay, so whenever the duplicate is encountered, we will perform the operation and we will increment the operation value, and then finally we will return the operation value. Okay, and this is the simple input statement. Basically, in your assessments, you don't have to write this part. This part will be automatically handled. Your part is just to handle the function. Okay, write the function definition. Okay, I hope you have understood it. So guys, I have written the code in Java, but I will give you the other two languages code also, that is in Python and C#, the equivalent code of Python and C#. In the comment box, you will get the links, so you can access those codes from there. Let's now move on to the next question. So let's look at this question that we have. The question is a coding based question. Let's see the question problem statement first. Jack has been interested in numerology for a while and has learned how to calculate lucky number for a word using the rules below. The rules are given as each alphabet in a word has an ASCII value where A is equals to 65, B is equals to 66, and so on and so forth, and Z will be 90. In the same way, the small letter will start from 97. The ASCII value will start from 97. Okay. Second point is given to us is each letter in the word is assigned a 1 based index. That is the first index. First letter has index 1. Second letter has index 2, and so on. Okay. Usually people make mistake. Okay. For example, I am telling you the input word that we have is James. Okay. But here in the question itself is given that you have to consider the indexing from 1 and not 0, because see, ideal array indexing we consider it from 0, 1, 2, right? But here, since it is given like that you have to consider the indexing from 1, so you should consider it from 1. If you start considering from 0, you will get a wrong output and wrong answer. Okay. Let's move on to the third point that we have. The lucky number is calculated as follows. Multiply each character's ASCII value by its 1 based index. Include this product in the sum only if either the index or the ASCII value or both are odd. Okay, I'll explain you now in a very easier terms. First of all, see what are the input that we have. The first input is the number of characters in our input array. Second input is simply the input array itself, right? The name. And then output is basically the sum value. Let's see. So here I have already told you how the indexing will be there. Indexing will be 1 based indexing, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So for letter J, the index will be 1, for A 2, and so on and so forth. So what I will do now is I will write the indexes first of all. Okay. So since our word is a 5-letter word, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay. Now I will write, I will just do this lines so that it will be clearly readable. Now our characters I will mention here. Okay, characters means whatever the letters in the words are there. So JAMES. Okay, James. Now next thing is what? See, we have the indexes, we have the characters, we need ASCII values, right? Because the sum, how it will be created, it was told that include this product in the sum. Product of what? Product of ASCII value and product of ASCII value and the index. So first of all, let's note down the ASCII values of these characters. So for J, the ASCII value is going to be 74. For A, it is going to be 65. And note that all the characters are capital letters. So you have to consider the ASCII values from 65 to 90. Just in case if the ASCII values were like small, so you have to consider that way. And guys, this is just I'm showing you a dry run. So you don't have to consider all this. You just have to write the code in such a way that everything will be handled properly. Okay. So for M, the ASCII value is going to be 77. For E, it is going to be 69. And then for S, it is going to be 83. Okay. Now we have noted all the ASCII values. Now what I will be noting is I will be noting the product. Product of what? Product of ASCII value and index value, right? Because that is what it is told to us. We have to finally do a summation, right? Where the summation should be what? Summation should be the sum of products. Okay. And then in summation also there is a condition given to us. We will come to that also. First of all, let's note down the products. Okay. Now in this one, the product will be how much? 1 into 74. Why 1 into 74? Because 1 is the index value, 74 is the ASCII value. So the sum is going to be 74. Similarly, next one is going to be 2 into 65, which is going to be 130. Next one we have is 3 into 77, which is going to be 231. Next up we have 4 into 69, which is going to be 276. Next one we have 5 into 83, which is going to be 415. Okay, guys, pardon me for my bad writing, but I hope you can understand what I'm trying to convey here. Okay, it is very easy problem. Just that that's the thing is you have to understand it. Okay, see, now we have noted down the products now. Okay, now the thing is what? Now we are already told that we have to include these products in our sum based on a specific condition. That is, the condition is include this product in the sum only if either the index value or the ASCII value is odd, or if both are odd. Okay, you don't have to see either your index can be odd. Okay, index is odd or your ASCII is odd. Okay, ASCII is odd, then you can include, or both are odd, then also you can include that. Okay, both are odd, then also you can include. But when can you not include it? When both are even. Okay, so make sure you never include a digit or a product whenever it is, when the both are odd. Okay, both are even, sorry, both are even means what? Both, one is your index value and one is your ASCII value. If both the values are odd, then you cannot take that value in your submission. Let's see which all values we are going to take. See, in this case, in the first case, one is what? Odd, and product value is 74, which means if even one thing is odd, then also we can take it. So we are going to take this in the submission. So I am going to write sum here and I am going to start summing it up. So first value that I have taken is 74. Second value, see, index value is even. Now if just in case if the ASCII value is also even, I am not going to take this value, okay, the product of this value. But see, the ASCII value is not even but it is odd, so I am also going to take the product of this values also, which means 130. Moving forward, next value is 3. This is odd itself, so I don't even need to check further, because if 1 is odd, so we can take that also, right? So 231. Next turn, 4 plus 6, 4 and 69. 4 is even but 69 is odd, so we are going to take this one also. Plus 5 and 83, 5 is odd, so this one also we are going to take. So product of this one. Okay, so guys, see, in this example that we have taken, there was no such product which we have eliminated, because in all the cases either one of the values were even, right? So we have taken all the products values. But that's what I'm saying, you have to be very careful. There can be other test cases where in some of the cases the either the index value, both the index and the ASCII value is going to be even. So in those cases you don't have to take your product values. Okay, simply finally now you have got the sum values, which all the values which you need to sum up. When you will sum up, you will get the final answer as 1126, which is going to be a final output. I don't think so. I think it might sound complicated when I'm trying to explain it, but this is a very simple problem. If you have understood it, chances are very high that the same exact problem is going to repeat. So please make sure that you practice it well and keep the code ready with you. Okay, see, I'm just going to quickly revise it and then we are going to move on to the code. Okay, see, what we need is, we were given an input. Okay, basically two inputs. First input was the number of elements, okay, in the input array. Second element was the input array itself, and the output basically is the summation. What we have taken is, we have taken the index values, we have taken the ASCII values, we have multiplied the index and the ASCII values, and we have find out the product. Now the product digits needs to be summed up. Okay, like the product values needs to be summed up, but based on a condition, either your index value or your ASCII value should be odd, or if both are odd, then also it is fine, but both should not be even. If both are even, then you cannot take that product value in your submission value. Okay, and based on that we have calculated our sum value, and the final sum value is our final answer. Let's now see the code implementation of this one. I am showing you the Java code implementation, but guys, I will also be providing you the other two codes in the description box. Okay, that is your C# and Python. Make sure to check the description box. Okay, let's see the code that we have here. Basically the function name, input, and the input array. Array is basically here a string. Okay, so don't worry about it. It is just that it is given in the form of a string. Okay, because we have the input as the name of a person, right? So lucky number is initially 0. Okay, and then see, lucky number is what? Lucky number is basically nothing but a sum value only. Okay, you can say it's sum is equals to 0 or lucky number is equals to 0. Okay, see, initially what we are doing is, we are going to iterate over our input string, and then we are going to we are making sure, we are not making sure, but we are converting it to a 1 based indexing. Okay, that is, we are doing I plus 1, because whenever it is our 0, what we mean is it is 1. Whenever it is 1, we mean it is 2, right? So that is why. Then we are calculating the ASCII value simply by doing this and dot char at I. This is the way to calculate or find out the ASCII value for a given character in Java. So now next thing is, we have to include only if either the index of ASCII or the value or both are odd. So see, this is what? This is checking if the ASCII is odd. Okay, index mod 2 is equals to 1 means what? ASCII value is, the index value is odd. Okay, this is the condition to check that. This is what? This is for to check whether the ASCII value is odd. Okay, this is for index value is odd, this is for ASCII value is odd. And we are not taking the third condition, because third condition is already covered inside these two conditions itself. See, if either one of them is odd, then obviously, right, the third condition will also be satisfied, right? Because third condition was what? Both of them should be odd, right? So that is why you might have noticed that I have not written the separate third condition, but if you want, you can write that too, right? And simply, if this condition holds true, you need to include the product value into your or you have to sum up the product value into a lucky number. And see, simply here on the go we are doing the product, right? Product of what? Product of your index and your ASCII value. Once the entire loop iteration is completed, you will have the final summation in your sum variable or whatever variable you have taken. In our case, we have taken the variable name as lucky number. So lucky number is basically going to have our final summation. So in this way you will get your final output, and you have to sum it you have to print it out. Okay, basically this part will be taken care. You just have to focus on your definition, okay, function definition. So guys, as I mentioned, you will get the code links in the description box, that is in Java, Python and C#, all the languages. Make sure if you have any of the doubts in any of the question, you can ask me in the comment section, and please write your reviews if you are finding it helpful or not. So guys, these are the questions that came in the assessment. Okay, these are the actual questions. Now, since these images are not much readable, what I have done is I have taken them in the written format so that we can read them clearly and we can solve them clearly, so that it will give you a better practice of how you can also attempt the questions in the examination and what types of questions comes. So this will have a very good preparation of questions for all of you. So let's see the first question that we have, which is based on SQL. So let's read the question first. Write an SQL query to display the user ID, first name and last name of the top 5 users who have sent the most messages. Along with the number of messages they have sent, the output should be sorted in descending order of user ID. Your output should contain the following 4 columns: user ID, first name, last name and message sent. You can view the database schema by clicking on View Schema tab at the bottom of the query window or on the right side, on the right hand side of the screen basically. So see guys, I have also not just taken the question for all of you guys, so that if someone is not aware how to solve this question, just I have taken a sample answer. Okay, there can be multiple ways of writing this query, but I have taken one such way. Okay, I would not recommend you, if you are already aware of how to solve this question, then don't watch this solution of mine. You yourself try to figure out, okay, how you can solve it. But if you are not aware, you can watch this solution. So see, what I have done here is I have used the select. First I'll read out the query and then I'll try to explain you. Select u.user id, u.first name, u.last name, count m.message id as message sent. Okay, and from users view, basically we are retrieving user id, first name and last name from the users table. Okay, and we count the number of messages sent by each user using this count. Okay, and like this count, we are like counting the number of messages sent by each user and alias its message sent. Okay, then what we are doing is we are joining the tables. Okay, the message table contains message details and we use joins on users and messages, where user like u.user id is equals to m.send id, which means user.user id is equal to messages.sender id to fetch the messages sent by the like each user. Then what we are doing, we are grouping the data. So this basically, this line that you'll see on line number 4, this line is ensuring that the messages count is calculated per user. Okay, and then what we are doing is we are sorting the data. Okay, so for sorting we are using order by, and it sorts the users by number of messages sent in descending order, and this order by user id DESC is applied to sort the users in descending order. Okay, and then we are limiting it to 5, which means limit 5. This is basically ensuring that only the top 5 users with the highest messages counted are displayed. Okay, and then finally this will be our expected output. Like basically this expected output you won't have to see, but yeah, like what this query will generate and what the data that it will give, this is the data that we will have. Okay, the name of the employees, their last name and user IDs, and then messages sent. I hope you have found it helpful. Guys, if you have found it helpful, please put the word helpful in the comment section, because with that only I get to know that how many of you are preparing for the exam, and I can post more videos related to that. Let's move on to the next question that we have. Again, the next question is also based on a query only. Let's see what we have to do in this query. First, let's read the question clearly. Write an SQL query to display first name, position and salary of staff members where salary is greater than 50,000. Use an alias for the first name column as staff first name. Your output should contain the following 3 columns, that is staff first name, position and salary. You can view the database schema by clicking the View Schema tab on the bottom of the query window on the right hand side of the screen. Let's see the query first of all, and then I'll try to explain you. Again, I would not suggest you to go with my solution. You try to create your own query, because that will give you a practice of how can you solve these questions in the examination. So the query is select first name as staff first name, position salary from staff where salary is greater than 50,000. So basically what we are doing is we are retrieving the first name and salary from the staff table. The column first name is aliased as staff first name using as to match the required output format. Okay, and then what we are doing is we are filtering the data. That is what we are doing here is where salary is greater than 50,000. So this condition ensures that only staff members earning more than 50,000 are included, and then we are outputting the things. Okay, which means the query returns only the relevant details with proper aliasing as required. So basically whatever the conditions that we need to set, and this will be our expected output. Okay, like the name and salary will be greater than 50,000 and then their positions. So this output displays the staff members earning more than 50,000 with their first name as staff first name. Okay, I hope this is understandable. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so, because it takes a lot of hard work to create this kind of content for all of you. Okay, so if you respect the content that I am providing, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, because that is only what you guys can do for me. Let's move on to the next question, which is based on HTML CSS part, which is UI based. Okay, the one UI based question that we get. Let's read the question clearly first, and then I will give you the quick answers for this question. Okay, and I will also try to explain you, but again I would suggest you that you try to solve it on your own, because watching my solution will only make you understand this question, but the other questions that you are going to attempt, how you can get it right. So you have to be prepared enough so that in exam when the question comes, you can solve it on your own. Let's see the question that we have on our screen. You are working on an interactive animal display application that showcases adorable animal images and fun facts. While the basic structure is in place, it needs functionality to dynamically update images and facts based on the user selection, ensuring that the correct animal image and its fun fact are displayed whenever their respective button is clicked. The objective are: add the ID animal fact to the paragraph element in HTML that displays the animal fact, add a gap of 15 pixels in CSS to display the button properly, ensure that the puppy and kitten buttons display the correct animal image and fun fact when clicked by linking them to the appropriate functionality. Constraint is: do not modify any existing IDs and class names, keep all the existing styles and functionality intact. Okay, see guys, so don't focus much on this like JavaScript part, because most of the things will be set up, given to you already set up in the code. Okay, your main part is to set up the HTML part, CSS part, and basics JavaScript, whichever is required. Okay, so see, first of all, let's see this like code. Okay, you can see this code. Basically this is for HTML part, and this is like whatever, like gap addition was required, like 15 pixel and all. This is for that part. I'll quickly guide you through it. Okay, so see, it was asked to add a ID, right? So we have added an ID animal fact here. Okay, and to the paragraph element in the HTML. This is basically ensuring that we can dynamically update the displayed fact. Okay, and then we are adding margin right of 15 pixels between the button for better UI alignment. Okay, and then we have linked the event listeners to the puppy and the kitten buttons in the JavaScript part. Okay, and so that when the puppy is clicked, it updates the image to puppy.jpg and send the changes to puppies like whatever the thing is there. Okay, like quote or something, the text basically. And when kitten is clicked, updates the image to kitten.jpg and the changes updates the fact to the kitten related fact. Okay, and what will be the expected output? Basically when the puppy button is clicked, the image should update to the puppy image, and then the fact should update the puppy fact. Okay, and when we click on the kitten button, the image should update to the kitten picture, and then the fact should update related to the kitten. So basically this is how you have to write it. Basically for all of those who have basic understanding of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, this is one of the easiest ones, and we have seen that the level of questions were very easy. It was not that tough if you have prepared well. So I would also say you that please make sure that you prepare well for these, because if you are already prepared well, you won't find it tough. And that is the main motive of me creating these videos, so that you get a actual habit of or actual practice of questions that come in your assessment. Let's look at this question. Write a program that checks whether the sum of the first half of an array is less than the sum of second half. If the condition is met, the program should reverse the entire array. Finally, the program should print the resulting array. Okay, let's understand what the problem is saying us. So for example, if we have the input array like this, okay, 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, and then 30. Okay, this is our input array. What it is saying is we have to write a program that will check whether the sum of first half of this array, okay, first half is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, which means first half will be this much and this will be second half. Okay, so I will write first half and then this is second half. Okay, so we have to check if the sum of the first half is less than the sum of second half. If it is, then we just need to reverse the array. Okay, let's see how can we do that. So in this case, let's try to find out what will be the answer. So 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, the sum of first half is 5, and then 10 plus 20 plus 30. is 60. Okay, so this is true, right? Sum of first half is less than sum of second half. So what we will do in our output, we will just return this one, okay, the same array with the reversed one, okay, which means 30, 20, 10, 3, 2, 1. Okay, hope you have understood what the question is asking and how we have to solve. This is a pretty basic question, and these kinds of question usually come. Okay, so you have to just stay calm and try to write the solution. Let's see. See, we have created a function that is check and reverse. What we are doing is taking n. Okay, n is what? N is the length of our array. So in our case, the length of our array is going to be 6, right? So it is going to be 6. Then what we are doing the sum of first half, and then we are doing the sum of second half and storing in first half some variable and second half some variable. How we are summing it up? So we are using sum function for that, and then to take the first half of the array, what we are doing is we are using this slice technique. Okay, that is array of, and then these in this way we can take the first half basically. Okay, so array of, and this will give us the first half of our array. Okay, so this and by putting that in the sum function, we will get the sum also. So we will store that in the first half sum and second half sum in this way. Then what we will do, we will check our condition. Okay, if the first half sum is less than second half sum, then what we need to do, we need to reverse it, right? So array dot reverse, and then reverse the array if this condition is met. So this way our array will be reversed, and finally we will print out our resulting array. Let's consider the other case where the first half sum is greater than second half sum. So it will not go in this reverse, like in this if condition. So it will simply print out the input array itself. Okay, the same array we have to print out. So here we can see the like example usage also, 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 30. So we will just pass this in the check and reverse function, and then we will get the output as the reversed array because our sum of the first half is less than sum of the second half. Hope you have understood the logic. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment section. Okay, so this was the Python implementation. Now you can see the Java and C# implementation on the screen. Don't worry, I will provide you all the 3 codes. Okay, that is Java, C# and Python code in the link in the description box. Make sure to check it from there. Okay, we are not going to dive deep into these codes, but it is for your reference, so you can check it and understand it. Let's now move on to the next one. Let's look at this question. The problem statement is count valid subarrays of size 3. Okay, the problem description is you are given an array of integers containing n elements. Your task is to find and return an integer value representing the total number of subarrays of size 3, where the sum of the first element and the third element is equals to the second element. Okay, a subarray is a continuous subsequence of elements in an array, and this is your input specification, input 1 and input 2, and input 1 is what? An integer array of size n, and input t is an integer value n, which is representing the size of the array. Output specification is what? We need to return an integer value representing the total number of subarrays of size 3 that satisfy the given condition. Let's first of all see what the question is asking and how can we implement it. So here we are given an example input case also. The input is going to be 1 2 1, 3 5 2 4 2, and input 2 is 8. Okay, based on this we will get the output. Okay, I have forgot to add the output here. The output is going to be 2 in this case. Okay, let's see. No, output is not 2 but 3 in this case. Okay, so let's see how can we solve this and what is the question asking. So first let us understand with one of the inputs. Okay, so I will take one of the arrays here, okay, which is this one only, 1 2 1 3 5 2 4 and 2. Now just understand first thing that what is a sub array. Okay, sub array is a small part of this array. Okay, so we can call 1 3 5 also as a sub array, then we can call 2 4 2 as a sub array. Okay, so in this way all these sub arrays are what? A part of this same array. Now the main thing is that sub array should only be of size 3, okay, which is already given to us. So we have to see all these types of sub arrays which can be of size 3, right? Now one by one we will check, okay, that which of the sub arrays in have what is the condition that is asked. For example, let me take the first sub array. Okay, and for your knowledge, how many sub arrays are possible? So in this way the next sub array will be this. Okay, and the next one will be 1 3 5. Okay, after that the next one will be 3 5 2, right? Okay, next one will be 5 2 4, right? In this way we will have many sub arrays, so you can understand and you can solve it. See, what is the question telling us? That the sum of first element and the third element should be equal to second element. Such a sub array is there, then we have to count that. Okay, so for example in this one, 1 plus 1 is 2, right? Sum of first element and last element is equals to middle element. So yes, we will count this one. Let's see this one. 2 and 3. 2 plus 3 is 5, but the middle element is 5. So we will not count this one, okay? 5 plus 1, 6, which is not equal. So we will not count this one. 3 plus 2, 5. Yes, we will count this one. 5 plus 4, 9. This is not equal. So we will not count this one, okay? So in this way, see, we got already 2. Let's see if we have more. So I have noted 5 to 4. The next one is going to be 2, 4, 2, right? So yeah, this is the last one that we will have. So 2 plus 2, 4, and then yeah, so sum of first and last is 2. So in this way, how much we have got? 3. So we will output 3. Okay, that is the important thing. Okay, that is the concept that we need to follow. Hope you have understood the problem. For your knowledge, I will also give you one more example so that you get it better way. Okay, let's understand quickly one more example. So let's take one more example array. Okay, let me clear out some things. So we are going to do the same thing on one more example array, because you see, understanding logic is important. Code can be done very easily. I personally believe that. So if you have understood the logic easily, then you can easily solve the question. So see, the next example that we have is 3, 1, 5, 4, 3, 6 and 3. Okay, this is our next array. Okay, now again we have to check how many sub arrays are there in which the sum of first and last element is equals to the middle element. Okay, so first of all, let's calculate, let's see one by one how many sub arrays we have in this one. So 3, 1, 5, 1, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 6, 3, 6 and 3. Okay, let's see. 3 plus 5 is 8, which is not equals to 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, which is equals to 5. So this 5 plus 3 is 8, which is not equals to 4. Again, no. 6 plus 4 is 10, which is not equals to 3. So this is also not going to be the answer. We will not going to count this one also. 3 plus 3 is 6. Yes. So yes, in this one we are going to count. So out of all the sub arrays possible, we have found out that there are 2 such sub arrays. Okay, so we will output the answer as 2. Hope you have now clearly understood the logic, and now let's see how can we implement this. Okay, so in your test or assessment, you will get this kind of basic template. Okay, where you need to implement your code from here. Okay, let's see how we will implement our code. Let's see the code here. So see what we are doing. We have defined a count sub array function, and here what we are taking input 1 and input 2. Input 1 is our array, input 2 is size of array. Okay, then what we are doing, we are taking the count equals to 0 initially, and then we are running a for loop over our input array. Okay, so and then we are doing this input 2 minus 2, so that we will do the calculation on one sub array. Okay, then first element we are storing in first variable, second we are storing in second variable, and third we are storing in third variable. Okay, that is input 1 of I, which means the first element. For example, if we have something like this, okay, so 0, 1, 2, right? So input of I means input of 0, input 1 of 0, which means first variable will be stored in first, right? First value, like it will be stored here, and then 2 will be stored in second, right? And then third will store third value, which is 1. Okay, so in this way we will have these values. Then what we will do, we will perform a if condition check whether the sum of first and third is equals to second or not. If it is true, then what we will do, we will increment our count value. Okay, in this way we will run this loop over the entire array, and finally whatever we will be our count value, we will return that. Okay, so in this way we will have all the numbers of counts, okay, in which the first and the sum of last element is equals to the middle element. Hope you have understood it. So see, here we have the example usage. Here we are taking this array, and this is the n is the length of the array, and then we are passing in our count sub arrays function, we are passing array and end, and finally when we are getting the output, we are getting it as 3. Hope you have understood the logic. For any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section. Also, here is the Java and C# implementation of the same code. I will also give you these codes in the description box. Make sure to check that. Let's look at this question. The question that we have is, write the query to combine the result sets of 2 or more select statements. Okay, so see, how can you write the answer of this can be, you will not have any MCQs first of all. Okay, you will need to write the query by your own. See, so in order to answer this, you should know about this command, that is union. Okay, so basically union is the one which is used to combine the result sets of 2 or more select statements. Okay, so see what is happening here is, we have one select statement, that is select star from table. Okay, table 1. Okay, then we have union okay, which is like the connect. Union is something like, you can say as it is an operator which combines the result of select statements which and removes the duplicate values, okay. And there is also something called as union all also, okay. I'll tell you that also. So see, in this way, what will happen is we are having two select statements, right? Like table 1 and table 2, getting some data from table 1 and table 2, and then we are applying union in between. So what it will do is it will combine two select statements and will give us the result, okay. As I told you, there is something called as union all also. What is the purpose of that? So if you want to keep the duplicates, right, as I told you in this one, what it will do is it will remove any duplicates that are there from table 1 and table 2, but if you want to keep those duplicates also, you should do union all, okay. And the number of columns and their data types must match in both the queries, okay. That is the main condition here. But yeah, this was the query. Hope you have understood it. Let's now move on to the next question. The next question is this one, that is write a query to retrieve rows with dates within a specified range, okay. See, how can we write that? Select column name from table name, okay, where column name between, and then you have to give the range, okay. Range of the date is mentioned by A, okay. See, the between operator basically is used, okay. This between operator is used to filter the records where the date falls within a given range, right? In this case, we have taken two dates, right? 1st January and 30th of July, I think. So it is useful when dealing with time-based queries such as retrieving sales data for a specific period and all, okay. So you should remember this between operator, okay. In this one, between operator was the one which was mainly important, okay. And these are all query based question, okay. So you will not get any options, okay. So you need to write the query by your own. So let's revise the query once again and then we will quickly move on to the next question. The query is select column name from table name where column name between this and this, okay. Let's now move on to the next question. Write a query to retrieve specific columns from a table, okay. So in this one we have to like retrieve specific columns from a given table, okay. So the query is select first name, last name from employees. This is the most basic query, right? Because we have these as the column names, that is first name and last name, and we are retrieving it from the employees table, okay. Hope you have understood it. It is basically helpful in, select is basically helpful in fetching the specified data rather than selecting the columns. And if you want to take everything, then we have something called as this star, okay. So that's it. Now let's move on to the next question. Okay, so we have again this query based question, okay. Let's read it out. First of all, write a query to create a table named employees with fields like employee ID, employee name, employee age, employee address, and employee salary, okay. See, so how to do that? Create table and table name, that is employees, and then whatever fields that we need to have in that table. So we need to have employee ID. So type of employee ID can be what? Integer. So that is why we have mentioned int. Next is employee name. Employee name can be of what type? Varchar, okay, and we have mentioned the limit as 40. Next is employee age, that is type of int, and then employee address, again varchar. Next is employee salary, int, okay. So very basic query. The things which are given to us by using that only we have to write the query, okay. Hope you have understood it. Moving on to the next one. Okay, we have this type of question now. Let's see what we need to do in this types of question, okay. See, build a table that displays data about products, including columns for product name, price, and availability, okay. So see, we need to create a table first of all that displays data about products, including columns for product name, price, and availability, okay. So how the table should look like? First you should understand that figure in a figure, okay. Then only you can write the code for it. So it is saying the column name should be product name, product price, and availability. So like product name, okay, price, and availability, okay. This is like your column names, okay? And then you will have rows based on like data in the rows based on these columns, okay. And this is like, you can say, products table, okay. Now how we will write the code? So this code again you need to write, okay. So let's understand the structure in HTML. In order to create a table, first of all, table is the tag that you need to use, okay. Table, see, here we are using, this is the opening and this is the closing. Now in table also we have few things, right? As I told you, there will be a header and then there is a body, okay. So that is why we have separated these two, right? First we are mentioning header and then we are mentioning body, okay. So because header is what? Header is your initial or like the headings, right, which are telling you what the data is about, right? So table header, and then table header we have a row inside that, right? Like table head, inside that we have a row in which we have our column names. So that is why table row, and inside that we will mention th, which is like product name, product price, and product availability. Okay, this is table head, th for table head. So these things will be bold, a little bit bolder, okay, so that it will show that these are the header values. Next is what? Table body, right? Now everything that is there inside the table body is what? Again will be in table rows only, right? So first row, second row, third row, in this way we will have the data. So let's see in first row what is the data that we will have. We will have like product name as in product A, right? Product A. Okay, then we will have the product price, right? Like $10, and then we will have availability if it is in stock or out of stock. Okay, so we will have this thing. So hope you understood it. See, first thing, to create the entire table we are using table. Okay, to create the head, like the first row which is a head, what we are using? Table head. Okay, T head, and then inside the table head we will have the data in a row format, that is why tr, and then to have the data in a bold format, that is why we are using th, okay, for the data entries. Okay, now closing tags of all of these again you have to like apply. Okay, so closing tags will be like this. Now what? Rows. Okay, rows data. So rows is what? Rows, like normal data is a part of table body, so we will use the tag t body, and inside that we will use again in the row format we are storing the data, right? So row we will create one, and in one row how many cells are there, according to that we can create the table data. Okay, so table data 1, table data 2, in this way. Okay, and whatever the table data that you have to mention, that you can store. Hope you have understood the answer. In this way you have to write the code. If you don't have the practice, I would suggest that practice beforehand by writing this code. Okay, it is very easy. If you practice once or twice, you will get it easily. Moving on to the next one, we have this question now. Okay, again this is a question based on HTML CSS only. Let's see. Design a simple HTML form with input fields, name, email, and message, and a submit button. Okay, so let's see. And like guys, I can also suggest you one thing, that these types of questions from technical assessment also gets repeated a lot. Okay, so maybe if you are practicing these questions, then there is high chance that these kind of questions, if they are getting repeated, you will have a like good hands-on, right? Because you have already practiced it beforehand. So I would highly suggest you that if you are also going to appear for these clusters and technical assessment, make sure that you practice it beforehand. Just by watching the video won't help. So if required, you can write this structure in your notebook, or if required, you can write it in the system and try it out on your own. Okay, so please try at least. Let's see in this question what we need to do. We need to like design a simple HTML form which will have input fields, okay, for name, email, and a message, and we need to also have a button. See, let's start. First of all, in order to have a form, we need a form tag, okay, initially only. So form tag is here. Okay, now form tag also have few things like action is equals to submit and method is equals to post. See, these are not mandatory, but these are helpful for submitting the form. Okay, so these are not mandatory attributes if you see, but yeah, action submit means you can, when you click on enter button, this form will be submitted, and method post is, this is a post type form, the data will be sent. Okay, so this is used for you creating the form. Now what we are told is we need to create input fields, right, for name, email, message. Now see, input field is usually created by input field. Okay, so how our form will look like, I'll show you in the structure. Okay, I'll show you in the structure. Okay, so they want that our form should have fields for name, email, and message. Okay, so see, ideally they are saying that you should have a like input fields for name, email, and message, so you won't create directly the input boxes, right? Otherwise the other person will not know what I have to enter in this input field. The end user might not get to know, so you have to make it meaningful. That is why you also need to give a label, right? So that is why this is called as label and this is called as input field. Okay, so in this way you need to have the label and input field for name, email, and then what, input field for email, and then one more thing is there which is a message. Okay, message. Okay, and then finally you need to have a submit button. Submit button looks something like this. Okay, so let's see how can you do that. See, as I told you, input can be created using this input tag. Okay, and in that input tag has different attributes. For example, name. Okay, what type of value you will fill in the name? You will fill a text type of value. That is why we have given the type as text. Okay, and it is good to give ID, but again not mandatory. Okay, so you can give the ID as the same label name only. Okay, so ID here we have given as name, and then name value as name. Okay, and then you have closed the input. So just by writing this statement, okay, this statement will give you this input box. Okay, then we have this label. So label, as I told you, you also need to make it meaningful so that the end user will understand what they are filling in. So label, and then for, you can mention name and then name. Okay, in this way. So whatever you write here will be mentioned here. See, now guys, you might be getting confused for attributes. Okay, so as I'm telling you, attributes are not mandatory. Okay, all attributes are not mandatory. Some which are mandatory, that only if you will write also, that also is fine. If you don't write, for example, if you don't write this ID here, okay, that is totally fine. If you don't write this name equals to name, that is also fine. That is what I'm trying to say here. So your main goal is to have the HTML structure, right? And attributes are giving additional functionality to the attributes. So that's what I'm trying to say here, that your main goal is to have the proper tags first. Okay, so if you write label and input, then your label will be showcasing here and then input will be showcasing here, and that is what it is asked in the question, right? Okay, next, first label and input we have done. Next is your email. So for email also we will do the same, email, and then label as email, and then input as simple input box with the attributes. Okay, so we will have this email input also. Next is your message input. So in message input, we are note that we are using a text area. Why so? Because see, message is something which has larger text, right, and not smaller text. So text area gives us the facility that we can enter a large amount of text. That is why you are using text area here. Okay, so in this way you will have your message. Next is, at the end we need to add a submit button. So for that we have used the input. Okay, so input type submit value equals to submit. Okay, if required you can also use a button tag also, that is totally fine. So basically you have to serve the purpose, whatever is asked in the question, you have to use the tags and create that kind of structure. Okay, hope you have understood it. Let's now move on to the next question. See, this is our next question, again based on SQL. The question is, write a query to delete all the rows from a table but keeps the table structure. Okay, the answer for this will be, and the query will be, truncate table name. Okay, see, truncate table is what? Truncate table commands removes all the records from a table but keeps the structure intact. It is faster than delete and does not log individual row deletions. See, I'll tell you what happens is, if you have this type of table structure, okay, which has like maybe ID, okay, then name and age, okay, something like this, and it has some data inside it. So when you will do truncate table, what it will do, it will remove all the records. Okay, like for example, if it is like the data is like Ram and then age is like 20. Okay, and in this the age is 30, 40, and then Sham, and then whatever. Okay, there is some data basically in this table. So when you will do truncate, all this data will be refreshed and it will be removed, but the actual structure of the table will stay. Okay, and this is faster than delete. So in some cases, we need also this kind of situation where we just need to keep the structure of the table because we are going to fill it with another data, but we just want to delete all the entries in the table. So for that purpose we use truncate. Okay, hope it is very clear now. Let's now move on to the next question. See, we have this question, write the query to retrieve the maximum value from a column. Okay, see, now there can be a table, okay, which is like I would say maybe like salary or something. Let's suppose salary, which has salary of different employees, okay, in every cell. Now we want to find out, and it has like lots of data, okay, like 10,000 lines or something, maybe a lot of data it is there. We cannot take out the data manually, right? So we need to find out the maximum salary out of this given column. So how can we do that? So for that the query is, select max of column name. For example, in our case it will be salary if we are like doing it for the salary. So max of salary from table name, whatever is our table. For example, if the table name is employee data or something, so instead of table name we will use employee data. Okay, hope it is very clear. Basically the main part is max function that we have to use, because the max function returns the highest value in a specified column. It is used for finding the highest salary and these type of data. Okay, as I explained you, maximum price, most recent data in a data set. Okay, let's now move on to the next question. The question is, write a query to combine two rows with the help of left join. Okay, so we have joins in SQL, we all are aware, right? So let's see the SQL query. So the query is, select E dot first name, D dot department name from employee E, left join department D on E dot department ID is equals to D dot department ID. See, a left join, what it does is it returns all the records from the left table and matching records from the right table. Okay, if there is no match, null is written. Okay, so you have to understand, left join is basically used for what purpose? All record from left table and matching record from right table. Okay, this you have to remember. And in case of right join, you have to do it the vice versa. Okay, like all record from right table and matching record from left table. That is the only difference. And if there is no match, okay, then it will give null. Okay, hope you have understood it. Let's now move on to the null as in, okay, null as in for what? Null for the right table. Okay, if there is no match, because for left table it will give the complete record, all record, right? Let's move on to the next question now, which is this one. We have again a HTML structure based question. Let's see the question. Build a basic navigation bar with links to home, about, services and contact pages. Okay, so see, navigation bar is what? First of all, you have to understand that. So if you must have visited a website, right? So in a website, the top bar that we have, okay, inside that bar, you know, you might have seen a hamburger icon here. Then we have like sections like about, right? Then contact us, right? Then services, etc, like there is there. When you click on that, you will be redirected to a new page, right? Something like that. That is called as a navigation bar. Okay, this is a navigation bar. Oh, you understood the thing. What is a navigation bar? First of all, now let us see how we write the code of navigation bar in HTML. So for navigation bar, we have a tag called nav. Okay, so nav is the tag that you need to use for a navigation bar. So initially this will set up that this will tell the HTML that you are writing the code for navigation bar. Okay, this much is done. Now what is the next thing that you are going to do? You are going to show this data as a list. Okay, which means a list is there, and then inside that list there are some entries. Okay, so for that what you are using is UL. UL stands for unordered list. Okay, unordered list. And then in that unordered list we have list item. Okay, so your list will come something like this. Okay, first thing will be your home. Okay, then your about, services and contact. Now this is important, guys. Href is important because see, we are using a tag. A tag is what? To make your navigation a link. Okay, so when someone will click on that, they will be redirected to somewhere. So for that we are using a tag, and where they should redirect to, so that reference is given in href. Basically index.html is the page name. Okay, so in this way you can create your navigation bar. Hope it is clear to everyone. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following are features of cloud computing? Okay, we have the options. The options are security, availability, large network access, and option D is all of the mentioned. The correct answer for this question is going to be option number D, which is all of the mentioned, because cloud computing offers security, availability and large network access, ensuring scalable and efficient computing resources over the internet. So everything is getting everything is a feature of cloud computing, we can say. Okay, moving on to the next one. Which of the following is a type of cloud computing service? Okay, and we have different services. So we all know that in cloud computing there are three major services, right? Like as software as a service, infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. Okay, now in this one we are given four options for a software as a service, and there might be some mistakes, okay, in every option. Let's read the options and then we will figure out. Let's see. Service as a software, this is wrong. Software and a server, this is also wrong. Software as a service, this is correct, and then software as a server is also wrong. So the correct answer will be option number C, which is software as a service. Okay, moving on to the next question. Which of the following is an example of cloud? We have different options given to us. First is Amazon Web Services, second is Dropbox, third is Cisco WebEx, and fourth is all of the above. Let's see what is the correct answer. The correct answer is going to be all of the above, because see, AWS, Dropbox and Cisco, these are all cloud based platforms, and they provide cloud based things, right? For example, AWS, what it provides cloud infrastructure, hosting, computing resources. In the same way, Dropbox, what does it provide? It is a cloud storage device. You can store your documents, data, right, in Dropbox. And what is Cisco WebEx? Cisco WebEx is a cloud based video conferencing tool. So all these are cloud based, right? That is why all these are the examples of cloud. Okay, moving on to the next question now. Okay, so the next question is this one. Which of the following is a cloud platform provided by Amazon? Okay, now let's read the option. AWS, Cloudera, Azure, all of the mentioned. See, the correct answer for this question is AWS, because AWS itself stands for Amazon Web Services. Okay, Amazon Web Services. Okay, so that is why AWS is given by Amazon. Okay, and it is used for basically it is a cloud platform offering computing, storage, network and security services. And Cloudera, okay, what is Cloudera? It is like basically specializes in big data analytics purpose, and Azure is like from Microsoft and not from Amazon. That is why that is also not the answer. The correct answer for this question is going to be option number A, which is A. So in this syllabus, if you see this part, okay, so I was telling you, right, in Cognizant round 2, basically there are two things. First is aptitude assessment and the second is technical assessment. So in technical assessment, we have three clusters, cluster 1, cluster 2 and cluster 3. So in cluster 2, so if you opt for cluster 2, so you will get coding, Python, query, database, ANSI, SQL and MySQL. For this also I have uploaded the video already. Make sure to check that if you haven't checked it. And this video is going to be for this part, okay, that is cloud fundamentals, multiple choice questions, and there are the topics that is given. The topics are like introduction to cloud computing, cloud service models, cloud deployment models, virtualization, cloud providers, basic cloud services, okay. So you will get MCQs questions on these topic, okay. So let's look at this question. What is the primary benefit of cloud computing? The options that we have are reduced operational cost, increased hardware requirements, less scalability, decreased efficiency. So the correct answer for this question is going to be option number A, which is reduced operational cost. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following is not a service model in cloud computing? The options that we have are IaaS, PaaS, SaaS and DaaS. So guys, just in case if you are not aware the full forms of IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, so I'll tell you. IaaS stands for infrastructure as a service, okay. And let's see the other ones. Then we have platform as a service. Then we have software as a service, okay. So there is nothing called as DaaS. So the correct answer in this case is option D, that is DaaS. So DaaS is not a service model in cloud computing. Moving on to the next question. What does IaaS stand for in the context of cloud computing? So guys, in previous question only I told you all the full forms. So the correct answer for this will be infrastructure as a service. So IaaS stands for infrastructure as a service. Hence the correct answer for this question is option B. Moving on to the next question. Guys, before we look at the next question, if you are new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Let's look at this question now. Which of the following is an example of public cloud provider? The options that we have are Google Cloud, AWS, that is Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure and all of the above. So guys, in this one the correct answer is going to be option number D, that is all of the above. So all of the above, like that is Google Cloud, AWS, Microsoft Azure, all are public cloud providers, okay. So now let's move on to the next question. The question is, which deployment model of cloud computing is the most commonly used by businesses? Okay, and we have different models as the option. First is private cloud, second is public cloud, hybrid cloud and community cloud. So in this one the correct answer is going to be hybrid cloud, that is option number C. So hybrid cloud model is most commonly used by businesses actually, so that is why we have selected this answer. Moving on to the next question. Next question is based on virtualization. Okay, so let's read the question first. Virtualization in cloud computing allows for, we have different options. First is creating multiple virtual instances of physical hardware. Option B is increased hardware requirements. Option C is reduced internet speed. Option D is storing all data in one location. So guys, see, virtualization word itself means, right, with the first option itself you can understand creating multiple virtual instances of physical hardware. So that is why the correct answer is going to be option number A in this case. Okay, moving on to the next question. So guys, I just want to suggest you that before directly watching the solutions, try to think of the answer in your own mind, and if you can't figure out, then you can continue watching, but at least think for one of the answers. Okay, and guys, I know that these questions, it won't be like you will just watch this video once and it will be fit in your mind. You might need to watch the video twice or thrice so that you will be like fully prepared for these types of questions. Okay, let's now move on to the next question. Which of the following cloud providers offers a PaaS, okay, which is platform as a service model? Options that we have is AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure and all of the above. So this is correct answer in this case is option D, that is all of the above, because all of the above, which is like AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, all of them provided PaaS services. Okay, PaaS services as in platform as a service, cloud computing service they provide. That is why we have selected all of the above. Moving on to the next question that we have: which of the following is a key characteristics of hybrid cloud deployment model? Okay, and let's see the options that we have. First is it involves only private cloud infrastructure. Option B is it combines both private and public cloud environments. Option C is it uses a community cloud environment, and option D is it is only accessible by a single organization. The correct answer in this case would be option number B, that is it combines both private and public cloud environments. Let's move on to the next question now. So in this question, what we are asked is, in which service model do customers manage the applications while the provider manages everything else? Okay, and we have the options, that is SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, DaaS. Okay, so the correct answer in this case is going to be PaaS. Okay, that is in platform as a service. What happens? What was the question that was asked? Customers manage the applications while the provider manages everything else. So application is managed by whom? It is managed by customer in case of PaaS. Okay, let's now move on to the next question that we have. The question is, which of the following is not a feature of cloud computing? Okay, let's read the options. The first option is on-demand self-service, broad network access, increased hardware requirements, and option D is resource pooling. See, so hardware requirements is not does not comes under what cloud computing. Okay, rest everything like on-demand self-service. So whenever there is a need of self-service regarding any regarding any of the feature which is provided, you can get that. Broad network access, and then resource also can be increased or reduced. So all of these are provided by cloud computing, but hardware requirements increasing is not related to cloud computing. Okay, moving on to next question. In a public cloud, resources such as computing power and storage are, let's see the options, shared by multiple users, dedicated to a single organization. Option C is only accessible by government agencies, and option D is located on premise. The correct answer in this case is shared by multiple users. Answer in this case is going to be option A, that is resources such as computer power and storage are shared by multiple users. Moving on, what does the pay-as-you-go pricing model in cloud computing mean? Okay, so let's see the options that we have. Option A is you pay upfront for all the services. Option B is you only pay for the resources you use, and option C is you pay fixed monthly fees, and option D is you pay for storage only. Okay, so the correct answer in this case will be option B, which is you only pay for the resources you use. So see, it is pay as you go, which means only the things which you use, for that only you need to pay, and you don't need to pay, like it does not mean that you have to pay upfront for all services. No, you do not have to pay any fixed monthly amount. So how much usage you are having, that much you have to pay. Okay, let's move on now to the next question. Which of the following is an advantage of cloud computing for businesses? Let's see the options that we have. First option is reduced need for IT staff. Option B is increased capital expenditure. Option C is less scalability, and option D is reduced network access. The correct answer in this case would be option A, that is reduced need for IT staff. Okay, so this is one of the advantage of cloud computing for businesses, because see, with cloud computing the need of IT staff has reduced a bit. Okay, because things are on the cloud now, right? Moving on to the next question. Which of the following is a major risk of cloud computing? Okay, major risk of cloud computing we have to tell. First option is security and privacy concern. Option B is increased hardware requirement. Option C is reduced network access, and option D is limited scalability. The correct answer for this will be option A, that is security and privacy concerns is a major risk of cloud computing. Okay, moving on to the next question now. So what type of cloud computing model would a large enterprise that needs to keep its data private and secure likely use? Options are private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. The correct answer in this case is going to be private cloud, which is option A. Okay, so large enterprise that needs to keep their data private, they usually use private cloud because it is more secure. Okay, moving on to question this one, which is Which of the following is an example of IaaS? Okay, so let's see the options that we have. First option is Google App Engine. Option B is AWS EC2, that is Elastic Compute Cloud. Option C is Microsoft Azure App Service, and option D is Dropbox. Let's see the correct answer for this one. The correct answer is option number B, that is AWS EC2. So AWS EC2 is an example of what? IaaS. You have to remember that. Okay. Moving on to the next question. In a cloud computing environment, virtualization allows us for, options are the creation of isolated environments on a physical machine. Option B is a single user to access all resources. Option C is direct access to hardware components. And option D is storing data on premises. The correct answer in this case is option number A, that is the creation of isolated environments on a physical machine. Let's now move on to our next question. What does SaaS stand for in cloud computing? So guys, in one of the previous questions only I told you SaaS stands for what? Software as a service. Okay, so let's see if we have this option or not. First option is secure software as a service only. Yes, so this is only the correct answer. Let's but also see the different options. Okay, because sometimes the options are tricky, so always I will suggest that always read all the options given to you. Second option is security as a service. Third is service as a software. Fourth is storage as a service. So the correct answer in this case, as we have seen, is going to be option number A, which is software as a service. Let's now move on to the next question. Which cloud service model requires customers to manage the operating system and applications? Okay, let's see the options that we have. So first is IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. Second is platform as a service. Third is software as a service, and fourth is option D, which is all of them. So see, in this case the correct answer is going to be IaaS, okay, which is infrastructure as a service. Hence the correct answer is option A, that is IaaS cloud service model requires customers to manage the operating system and application. Basically they will provide you the infrastructure, and then customer or you will manage the operating system and the applications inside it. Moving on to the next question. In which deployment model is the cloud infrastructure shared by several organizations with common concerns? So the options that we have are public cloud, private cloud, community cloud, and hybrid cloud. The correct answer is option C, okay, that is community cloud. Correct answer is option C. Community cloud deployment model is the cloud infrastructure shared by several organizations with common concern. See, the word itself has community in it, okay. So with that also you can remember these types of questions. Let's move on to the next question, which is which of the following is a typical feature of virtualization in cloud computing? Okay, let's see the options that we have. Running multiple operating systems on the same physical machine. Option B is storing data in a local data center. Option C is increased reliance on a physical hardware. Option D is direct access to physical network interfaces. The correct answer in this case is going to be option number A, that is running multiple operating systems on the same physical machine. That is the main or typical feature of virtualization in cloud computing. Moving on to the next question now. Which cloud deployment model would be the most appropriate for an organization that needs to keep some data on premises and use public cloud services for other needs? Let's see the option that we have. First option is hybrid cloud. Second is community cloud, third is public cloud, and fourth is private cloud. So see guys, before looking into the answer of this question, let's try to understand what the question is asking. Which deployment model would be most appropriate for an organization that needs to keep some data on premise? See, one thing is told is they need to keep data on premise and plus use public cloud services for other needs. So use public cloud services for other needs. So they want both things, okay, like on premise and public cloud. So when both are needed, so for that we will select option A, which is hybrid cloud. Okay, so that's why in this case the correct answer is going to be hybrid cloud. Moving on to the next question now. What is one of the primary roles of a cloud service provider, that is CSP? Let's see the options that we have. First option is to manage customer devices. Option B is to offer resources such as computing power and storage on demand. Option C is to manage customer business operations, and option D is to provide end user technical support. The correct answer in this case is going to be option number B, that is to offer resources such as computing power and storage on demand. That is the main primary role of CSP, that is cloud service provider. Moving on to our next question now. Which of the following is an example of a private cloud service? Okay, let's see the options that we have. First option is Amazon EC2. Second option is VMware vSphere. Option C is Google Cloud Storage, and option D is Microsoft Azure. So in this case, the correct answer is option B, which is VMware vSphere. Okay, let's now move on to the next question, which is this one. What is the key difference between public and private clouds? Let's see the options that we have. Public clouds are managed by the customer. Private clouds are for individual use only. Public clouds are accessible to multiple customers. And last option is private clouds are used for public services. So in this one, we have to basically tell the difference between public and private cloud. The correct option in this case is going to be option number C, which is public cloud are accessible to multiple customers. Okay, that is the main difference. So the correct answer is going to be option number C. Let's now move on to our next question. What does PaaS offers to customer? PaaS stands for platform as a service. So let's see the options that we have. A fully managed virtual server. Option B is an environment to develop, run and manage application without dealing with infrastructure. Option C is software application that are ready for use, and option D is virtual storage space. The correct answer is option B, that is an environment to develop, run and manage applications without dealing with infrastructure. Basically, the like what PaaS provides is it provides an environment to develop, run and manage applications. This is very important, guys. Just remember this one, okay? Because this is a service that PaaS provides, okay? Platform as a service provides. So if you remember, you can solve many questions based on this. Let's now move on to our next question. In cloud computing, which of the following is an example of basic cloud service? Let's see the options that we have. Option A is virtual machine. Option B is DBaaS, that is database as a service. Option C is load balancer, and option D is all of the above. So guys, in this one, the correct answer is going to be all of the above. Okay, that is all of these are the example of basic cloud services. Virtual machines, cloud service basically provides virtual machines also. Cloud services provide databases also. They provide load balancers also if there is a lot of load, right, to balance that. So all of this is the correct answer for this question. Moving on to our next question. Which of the which is one of the challenges used? Sorry, again, let me read the question from starting. Which of the challenges of using cloud computing for businesses? Let's see the options that we have. First option is decreased scalability. Option B is security and data privacy concern. Option C is reduced network speed. And option D is increased hardware usage. So the correct answer in this case is option number B, that is security and data privacy concerns. So these are like some of the challenges when it comes to cloud computing for businesses. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following is an example of public cloud service provider? Okay, let's see the options that we have. First option is IBM Cloud. Second is AWS, that is Amazon Web Service. Third is Microsoft Azure, and fourth option is option D, which is all of the above. So again, in this case also, the correct answer is going to be option D, that is all of them are the examples of public cloud service provider. Moving on to our next question. Which cloud computing models allows for the most flexibility and control over computing resources? Again, we have the options as PaaS, SaaS, IaaS and hybrid cloud. The correct answer is going to be IaaS, okay? That is option number C. So IaaS allows for most flexibility and control over computing resources. Let's now move on to the next question. In a hybrid cloud environment, which is true? We have to mention that, okay? Options are data is only stored in public cloud. Both public and private cloud models are used together. It requires only on-premise infrastructure. It uses only one cloud provider. Okay, the correct answer is option number B, that is both public and private models are used together. So you can also write something like this. Hybrid is what? Hybrid is public plus private. Okay. Hence the correct answer in this question is going to be option number B. Let's now move on to our next question. What is the main purpose of cloud virtualization? Let's see the options that we have. To separate the storage layer from computer layer. Option B is to run multiple applications on the same hardware. Option C is to reduce energy consumption. And option D is to automate cloud resource management. The correct answer in this case is going to be option number B, that is to run multiple applications on the same hardware. Okay. So answer B is the correct answer of this question. So cloud virtualization, what is the main purpose of that? We have to mention that. Next question. Okay, before guys we move on to the next question, if you guys are feeling that this video is helping you a little bit, please make sure that you like this video so that it gives me motivation to bring more such videos in future. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so, because it takes a lot of hard work to bring these kinds of content for all of you. Let's now see this question. Which cloud service model is most important for businesses that want to focus on using software without worrying about the infrastructure? Okay, so you understood the question. The options are IaaS, PaaS, SaaS and DaaS. Okay, the correct answer in this case is software as a service. Okay, that is like if business wants to focus main on software, right? In the question only it is mentioned, right? Focus more on software without worrying about infrastructure. So if the question would be like their focus should be on infrastructure, then we would have selected the answer as IaaS. But here they are mentioning that they need to keep the focus on software. That is why we have selected the answer as option C, which is SaaS, software as a service. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following best describes a community cloud? Okay, let's see the options that we have. Option A is cloud infrastructure that is shared by several organizations with similar needs. Option B is a private cloud for single organization. Option C is a cloud hosted on a private server. Option D is virtualized environment in a public cloud. Obviously guys, it is very obvious that the correct answer for this question is option number A, that is cloud infrastructure that is shared by several organizations with similar needs. Okay, so hence option A is the correct answer. Moving on. Which of the following is a characteristic of public cloud computing? Okay, so we have different options. We have to tell the characteristic of a public cloud computing. Let's see the options that we have. First is managed by a single organization. Option B is resources are available to general public. Option C is resources are provided only for a specific business sector. And option D is entire infrastructure is on premise. So see guys, in this case the correct answer is going to be option number B, that is in case of public cloud computing, resources are available to general public. Okay, moving on to the next question. In a SaaS model, who is responsible for maintenance of software? Okay, we have to mention that. Let's see the options that we have. First option is the user. Option B is the cloud service provider. Option C is the business owner. And option D is the operating system vendor. The correct answer in this case is going to be option B, that is the cloud service provider. Okay, so cloud service provider is mainly responsible for maintenance of the software. Let's now move on to the next question. Which of the following is not a key characteristic of cloud computing? Options that we have are scalability. Option B is on-demand self-service. Option C is lack of resource pooling. And option D is broad network access. The correct answer in this case is going to be option number C, that is lack of resource planning is not a key characteristic of cloud computing. Okay, moving on to the next question. Which of the following cloud service providers offers IaaS, PaaS and SaaS solution? We have different options: AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft and all of the above. So guys, the correct answer in this case is again going to be all of the above, because all of them provides these services. Okay, let's now see next question that we have. What does the term resource pooling refer to in cloud computing? Okay, let's see the options that we have. The use of multiple cloud sub providers for resource allocation. Option B is consolidating resources from several customers on the same infrastructure. Option C is the ability to store data in physical servers. And option D is using virtualization to increase the hardware usage. So correct answer is option number B, that is consolidating resources from several customers to the same infrastructure, on the same infrastructure. Moving on to our next question. What is the primary function of a virtual machine in cloud computing? Okay, let's see the options that we have. Option A is to store data on the cloud. Option B is to allow multiple applications to run on the server. Option C is to monitor cloud infrastructure. And option D is to allocate resources to different cloud services. Let's see the correct answer for this question. The correct answer will be option number B, to allow multiple applications to run on a server. Hence, the correct answer is option number B. Moving on to our next question. In cloud computing, which of the following is typically shared across multiple customers? Okay, let's see the options that we have. Physical hardware, virtual storage, software applications, or all of the above. See, obviously, in cloud computing, actually, what is happening is multiple customers share all the things. Okay, like they share hardwares also, they share virtual storages also, software applications. That is why we are going to select option D as the correct answer. Moving on to the next question now. What is the primary difference between IaaS and PaaS in cloud computing? Okay, we have to tell the difference between them. Let's see the options. IaaS provides physical infrastructure while PaaS offers a platform for developers. Okay, let's see the next question that we have. Next option that we have, PaaS offers more flexibility than IaaS. IaaS provides ready-to-use software applications while PaaS does not. PaaS is for business only, while IaaS is for developers. So guys, the correct answer for this is option number A, which is IaaS provides physical infrastructure while PaaS provides or offers a platform for developers. Moving on to the next question that we have. Which of the following is not a key service offered by most cloud service providers? Options are computing power, option B is storage service, option C is hardware management, and option D is software application management. The correct answer is option C, that is hardware management is not a service that is offered by most cloud service providers. Okay, next is your this question, which is what type of cloud computing service model would a business use if they want to build and deploy their own application without managing the underlying hardware? So hope you have understood the question. They don't want to manage the underlying hardware basically. So for that, which is useful, the options are IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, and DaaS. The correct answer for this question is going to be option number B, which is PaaS. Moving on to the next question. Which cloud computing service is commonly used for hosting and managing databases? SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, DBaaS. Okay, so in this one, the correct answer is going to be DBaaS, because DBaaS stands only for database as a service. Okay, that's why the correct answer is option number D. DBaaS is commonly used for hosting and managing databases. Moving on, which of the following is a true for public cloud? Let's see the options that we have. Option A is the cloud infrastructure is used exclusively by one organization. The services are delivered over the internet and available to the public. It is typically slower than private clouds. Data security is the sole responsibility of the customer. The correct answer in this case is going to be option number B, that is the services are delivered over the internet and is available to the public. Moving on to the next question now. What does a cloud provider's elasticity refers to? Okay, let's see the options that we have. The ability to add or remove resources based on demand, the ability to store data at low cost. Option C is the ability to virtualize hardware resources, and option D is the ability to encrypt data automatically. The correct answer is option number A, that is the ability to add or remove data based on demand. So that is what is called as elasticity. Okay, that is the concept of elasticity in cloud computing. Moving on to the next question now. What is the primary role of cloud service provider in IaaS? The options are to provide ready-made applications for the user. Option B is to offer infrastructure and virtualized resources. Option C is to manage the business application. Option D is to develop custom software solutions. Correct answer is option number B, that is to offer the infrastructure and virtualized resources. Let's now have a look at the next question. Which of the following is an advantage of hybrid cloud deployment? Okay, let's see the options. It allows for complete control over the resources. Option B is enables data security and flexibility by combining private and public clouds. Option C is it only requires public cloud resources. On option D is it uses a single cloud provider. So the correct answer is option number B, that is it enables data security and flexibility by combining private and public clouds. Let's now move on to the next option. Okay, so the next question is, in cloud computing, which of the following is responsible for managing virtual environment? Okay, the options are the cloud service provider, the customer service, the cloud applications, and the hardware providers. So guys, I am not going to tell you the answer of this question, because this is our do it yourself question for today, which means what you will do is you will figure out the answer of this question. We have already practiced a lot of questions. Now you will figure out the answer of this question, and if you have came so far in the video, then make sure to attempt this question and write down the answer of this question in the comment box. Okay, so that's all for this video. If you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section and I will guide through it. If you can also join me on Telegram and Instagram, make sure to subscribe to the channel to receive all the regular latest updates from the channel. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching the video.